Excellent. Can you hear? Is this loud enough? Sorry. So, yesterday we began with some talks about, teachings about meditation. One of my favorite teachings always is that Emperor's Three Questions. Now is the most important time. The one right in front of you, or the object right in front of you is the most important thing. And the most important thing to do is to care. Very simple, but highly effective. And one thing which you will find, that because you care, the contentment comes up automatically. It's nice to care for things. Many years ago, when my mind started wandering off when I was meditating, like many of you, I was taught, if the mind wanders off, get hold of it and bring it back again. But then it wandered off again, and I brought it back again. And it wandered off again, and I brought it back again. And it kept on wandering off and wandering off and wandering off and wandering off for years. And I had to keep on bringing it back again. I realized there was something wrong with this. It basically wasn't working. So that was a wonderful opportunity to use insight. It's not just keep on doing the same old thing and it's not working. It's asking the question, why? Why does my mind keep wandering off? And I realized the answer was something very, very simple. The simile I give for this was of the mother over in Australia who had a little kid about 6 years of age. And the kid threw a tantrum one day. "Mummy, I don't love you anymore. I'm leaving home." And I don't know if you've ever had kids, but if you've had kids and one of your kids says, "Mummy, I'm leaving home," I'm sure you were tempted to say, "Okay, off you go." But of course you think you can't do that. But this mother actually did it. She said, okay son, I'll help you pack. So they went into the son's bedroom and the mother helped pack all the essentials of life for her little child. Things like, I think it was a Superman suit, the lucky teddy bear or whatever. And so packed it for the son. But said, "Before you go, son, life is a long journey. So I'm going to give you something to eat on your journey. What would you like for lunch?" So he asked for his favourite sandwich. And so she made that sandwich for him, put it in a brown paper bag and gave it to him, and accompanied him to the front door of the house and said, "Bye-bye, son. Have a wonderful life." And she watched her son walk down the garden path with the sandwich and the suitcase with the Superman suit, or I think it was Spider-Man suit, I think. But anyway, to the gate, opened the gate, turned left and walked down the road. Left home for the first time. What would a 6-year-old do? A 6-year-old, it got about 100 meters down the road and then it was terribly homesick. Only 6. And so turned around, walked back, opened the garden gate, went down the garden path, and Mummy hadn't moved from the front door. And Mummy said, "Welcome home, darling." And I thought that was a great example of emotional intelligence. You don't control your kid. You just are much more sneaky than that. You kind of bribe him with kindness. And I thought when I heard that story, that's what I do with my mind. Sometimes you can be so strict with your mind, so unkind. Your mind wants to wander off somewhere. Don't you dare do that. Stay put. And so your mind takes the first opportunity to throw a tantrum and leave. It goes thinking about all sorts of rubbish things. So what should you do when your mind does that? Don't say, "No, you can't go." Say, "Okay, mind, I'll help you pack." "What do you want for lunch, mind?" Be so kind to your mind that after a while the mind doesn't want to go anywhere. It stays put because it likes you. You are a good friend to it. I realized that my mind would wander off because I had a wrong attitude to my mind. So these days, if my mind wants to wander off, okay, off you go, mind. Give me a break. I can have a rest when I'm not worrying about you. I don't have to be mindful about you. I don't have to do anything to you. And of course, it doesn't want to go anywhere then. So the reason, the insight was that controlling doesn't get you anywhere. Your mind is much more powerful than you are. But being kind to the mind means your mind doesn't want to leave you at all. It stays with you. And often I do that at the beginning of meditation. I ask my mind, how are you? And I'm kind, like I would be kind to any one of you. How are you today? And then I look at my mind, and mind says, I'm a bit tired today, or been busy, or I've been thinking about this project and the new house, and thinking all this sort of stuff. And say to your mind, never mind, mind. Whatever happens, the door of my heart will always be open to your mind. So you're so kind to your mind doesn't want to go anywhere. It just stays with you, because it's your best friend. I'm sure you must have experienced this, but because I spent a lot of my time over in Thailand or Australia, all the old friends which I had over in UK, it takes many, many years before I can go and visit them. But I remember visiting this one guy who was students together. And I don't usually talk too much. In front of a microphone, yes. But socializing with people, I'm not a big talker, am I?
No, you're an introvert.
Yeah, introvert, okay, yeah. But when it comes, I met this old friend, haven't seen him for years. We started talking and talking and talking and talking. I had to go to lunch at a Sri Lankan restaurant over close to Victoria Station. And I was supposed to be giving blessings, so I gave a really quick blessing and then carried on talking to my friend. It was. And then we still hadn't finished. I was going to the Wimbledon temple to give a talk. So we went on the underground. He didn't really want to go to Wimbledon. He had no business there, but because I was with him, we went together to the temple, talking all the way on the underground. Walking to the temple, we're still talking. When we got to the temple, people were already there waiting for the talk. I said, just wait on a moment. I carried on talking with my friend. I couldn't stop. And it really told me a very important lesson. When it's someone you're really friendly with, and you've feel no pressure on you at all, it's easy to spend hours together, no effort at all. And you enjoy each other's company. So from that I developed a simile. Suppose at the end of this retreat, this evening, you turn on your mobile phone, not before, and you get a message. It's a message from an acquaintance. And they say, you just finished your retreat. Would you like to come out for coffee this afternoon, later on this afternoon, this evening? And they say, I know this really nice coffee shop. I know you prefer tea, but I prefer coffee. So come to this coffee shop. It's really much better for you. And when we get to that coffee shop, this is a type of coffee I recommend. And you don't have any other coffee because this is the best coffee. And when we go there, we're going to sit in the corner, in the back, not in the front. I know you like to be in the front, but I like to be in the back in the corner. So we'll sit there. And you can have a muffin, but nothing else. And we want to talk about politics. Not about your stupid spirituality. That's just for airheads. We're gonna talk about politics. This is important in the world. People are living and dying, so we're going to talk about politics. I have an hour, so we just spend 1 hour, no longer than that. And then what would happen? If they invited you to go to their coffee shop, drink what they want, eat what they want, talk about what they like, sit where they want for 1 hour, what I would do, I would say, I just remembered I've got to go to the dentist. have a dentist appointment, and say, well, maybe next time. Maybe, not promise. And then to keep my precepts, because you're not allowed to lie, after I hang up, I ring up the dentist to make an appointment. And as soon as I made the appointment, then I get another phone call. And this person rings up and says, "Oh, Ajahn Brahm, are you free later on this afternoon? I always wanted to invite you to this. Oh, you like tea, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I love tea. I've got this lovely Sri Lankan tea shop, which makes this very strong Dilmar tea with condensed milk, with chinkiri. And you can eat whatever you want. You don't have to follow what I want to eat. And you can sit where you want to sit. And I know you're always interested in this meditation. You're a meditation teacher. I was always interested in meditation. Maybe we can discuss meditation while we're there. And if I'm invited to go to a place where they will give me what I like to drink and what I like to eat, and sit where I want to sit, and actually talk about what really interests me, my reaction would be, okay, I'm cancelling that dentist appointment. I'll see you there. And there's not any sort of compulsion for me to go, but I want to go there. And we end up sitting there, just the whole evening, because I'm enjoying it. Now, when we do some meditation in a few minutes, are you going to tell your body, we're going to sit in that chair for 45 minutes, don't move, and you're going to do Ajahn Brahm's meditation, not the meditation which you like, and and we're not going to think about anything, you're going to be silent, and you do that or else. How would you feel? You're like being controlled. You're under the power of a control freak. If that was me, I'd rebel. I'd say no. Even Matthias this morning said, "I hope you have a wonderful day." And I told him, I don't follow orders. Even Ajahn does that to me. Have a safe flight. Yeah, you do. Have a safe flight. And I said, no. Not because I don't want to have a safe flight, just in principle. If I want a safe flight, if I want a dangerous flight, I'm going to have a dangerous flight.
I say if you want to.
If you want to, if you say that. Yeah.
I say have a nice day if you want to.
Yeah. Same with you. I hope you have wonderful meditation if you want to. But you don't have to. So don't be a control freak. And that kindness freak, instead of a control freak, that's how you train your mind. When I was a young monk and just started really reading those books about Buddhism, there's one thing which at first I could not find, in Theravada teachings, kindness. And I'm looking for it. There's right view, right motivation, right speech, action, livelihood, right effort, right restraint, right mind, right meditation or stillness. Where was the right kindness? And that was actually quite challenging for me. Where is kindness in this Theravada Buddhist teachings? But nevertheless, the monks which I found, they practice kindness. I just wanted to see it in words. And if you want to find where it is, it was just such a relief for me to find that in the second factor of the Eightfold Path. The right, I call it motivation, not right thought or right intention. It's where you come from with whatever you do in life. And that was with, to make it simple, motivations of making peace, being kind, and being gentle. Those final two factors are so important. Actually, the first one is better translated as right letting go, renunciation, giving up. It's the first factor in the 3 factors of the second factor of the Eightfold Path. It's like letting go, not attaining anything, and right kindfulness, and right and gentleness. That's one of the reasons why whenever I saw people do ascetic things and deciding to sit, why don't we go for it today? Let's sit all day, cancel lunch. Shall we do that? I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I remember the first Waisak I went to in Cambridge. I was so inspired when I heard them tell me, I think it was Dr. Sadatissa, he came up to teach for that day. And he said the Buddha made a resolution. He would sit down in a meditation position and he would not move until he attained full enlightenment, or his bones dried up, his bones disintegrated and his blood dried up. This is how stupid an arrogant person is who went to the other place. Cambridge instead of Oxford. I was so inspired I went back to my room and I put a cushion out and I made the resolution as well. I did. That's how stupid I was. My maximum meditation was about half an hour, 35 minutes pushing it. And I said, I am not going to move from this cushion until I attain full enlightenment. Or my blood dries up and my bones turn to dust. I was serious. If the Buddha could do it, I can do it. Why not? What's the difference? So I sat down, made that resolution. I actually lasted about 40 minutes. And I was in incredible pain, honestly. And when I moved, I opened my eyes. It was so disappointing. Number one, I wasn't enlightened. And number two, my blood was still flowing. My bones hadn't turned to dust. And I realized just how controlling. So I'm going to do this no matter what. Again, doesn't work. But the kindness is what works. And that kindness is really the most important. And so when you're meditating, make a nice pact with your mind. Mind, how are you? What do you want? And I'm here to look after you and be a good friend to you. When you're a good friend to your mind, the mind stays with you. It doesn't always become peaceful. But if it doesn't become peaceful because you're with the mind all the time, you learn so much from it. You're not trying to get anywhere, you're just trying to be here. And this is where so many insights come from. You're not looking for insights. You're just being here and noticing what comes up, what disturbs you, what doesn't disturb you. And so that's where all the things which I used to be afraid of, after a while, you can remember them, and they never happened. You know, when I first went to Australia, I was with another monk, and he insisted we drank miso soup every morning. You know why? Because he was afraid there was going to be a nuclear war. He was certain it's going to happen. And apparently he read somewhere that miso soup gives you resistance to radiation poisoning. It's absolutely crazy. But I kind of like miso soup, so I didn't complain. It's amazing the things we do out of fear instead of things we do out of kindness. Even meditation. Please don't be afraid of anything. That's when you just go off into the future and worry about what might happen. Even some people, they start getting deep in meditation and they get a bit afraid. There was this meditation teacher over in Sri Lanka some years ago, And he was telling all these meditators, oh, well done, you're a stream winner now. Oh, well done, you're a once returner, going through all the stages of enlightenment. People were very excited. And one of my disciples in Perth, he was over there doing a meditation retreat with this fellow. And so he was allowed to call his wife back in Perth. Darling, we've got some good news. The teacher says, I'm now a stream winner. Oh, congratulations, husband. And a few days later, he rang again. Even better news. The teacher says, I'm now a once returner. Excellent. And then another telephone call. Non-returner. I'm anagami now. And that's when the wife got very upset. Husband, you get on the next plane home to Perth. I don't want you to become enlightened before you paid off our mortgage. That's true. She was really worried. He wasn't a non-returner, so it didn't really matter. But anyhow, the fear which comes up in people's lives, please don't let that to come up in your meditation. And with the mindfulness and the insight which comes up when you are with your mind rather than fighting your mind, the insight which comes up is very clear. And you see exactly what's going on. But how do you know it's real insight? You know it's real insight by what it does. If it's real insight, it leads to deeper stillness, more peace. If you have an insight and you think, oh, now I understand things, and you're more a pain in the arse than you were when you first came here, that is not insight. I don't know how many people have been like that. They go on these retreats, and then when they come home, their partner or their friends say, please don't allow this person to go on a retreat ever again. There's some lovely stories about that. There's this guy in the early days in Perth. He always wanted to go on a retreat, just a weekend retreat like you. And his wife said, no, you can't go. There's too much work to do on the weekend. You've got to clean the garage, you've got to mow the lawn, you've got to take the kids to sport. It's too busy now, you can't go. He was very good. He said, okay, I'm not going then. Next time there's a retreat on a weekend, can I go? He said, no, of course you can't. Mother's coming this weekend. We've got to do this extra shopping. It's going to be Christmas soon. We've got to buy all this Christmas stuff. No, it's too busy. You can't go. So he never went. But he was very determined. He wore his wife down. He kept on asking. He kept on asking until he said, there's a weekend retreat, can I go? And she was so frustrated at him. She said, okay, you go to your stupid retreat and leave me with all the work and the cooking and the cleaning and the looking after the kids. He took that as a yes. It's a true story. So he went on a weekend retreat, and when he came back from that weekend retreat, he was such an improved husband. So much more kinder and sensitive and warm and helpful. That he told us, from that time on he never needed to book. His wife booked every retreat for him. Off you go, off you go, off you go. He came home an improved husband. So look, ladies, if you've got a husband who's causing a bit of a problem, book him on the next retreat. Ajahn will look after him. And he'll come back home a new, improved model husband. Guaranteed.
So my role.
For you. Yes, your role, yeah. Just like you send a car to the garage to get tuned up. That's what we do here. We tune up husbands and tune up wives as well. So if your wife is giving you a bit of problems, please send her to the next retreat. But anyhow, there's a lot of truth to this. Even on one of the aircraft over in Perth, over in Thailand, I was reading about on the the newspaper, which was given out for free. The newspaper there was telling about this one hotel in Bangkok, the Oriental Hotel. It's a very famous hotel. It's always up there, the best hotels in the world. And this year it did get the main prize, the best hotel in the world. And they asked the managing director, what is your trick? Why is your hotel the best in the world? This is not an exaggeration. He was saying that he sends every member of staff in that hotel, from the cleaners to the cooks to the waitresses to the receptionists, everyone, not at the same time, in rotation, for 1 week meditation retreat in Ajahn Buddhist monastery in Suan Mok, at the firm's expense. It's not time taken off your holidays. 1 week meditation retreat. You go there. And he says he does that not because he was some Buddhist evangelist. He does that because the staff are so much more helpful, more aware, more kind to the customers after they've been on a retreat. I don't know who you work for, but I would suggest you tell them that story, so the next time there's a weekend retreat here, your company for who you work sends you here and pay all the bills. Good idea? But there's actually something to that. It's the insight which changes one's attitude towards life, sensitivity, and just the ability to work together. Little things like the meaning of silence and how beautiful that is. You don't always need to talk. You don't always need to have a fault-finding mind, always finding fault with one another. You know, this other attitude which values what you see in another person. You don't water the weeds in the garden, you just water the grass. Then the grass grows and the weeds get choked by the grass or by the flowers. Little ways of relating to another person, and the same ways as relating to yourself. You don't get so tired and exhausted. You're more at peace with yourself. And with that peace with yourself you have much more kindness, much more wisdom. You're more tolerant to life. So these are things which you learn, which are real insights, and they just change the way you live your life. So many... Oh, how am I going for time? Oh, not bad. I did promise that I'll keep to the time this time. Kind of. I'll hide the clock. Now, Venerable Chan is very good, but when you get into giving a talk, you don't think of the time. It's one of the nice things about when you are on a meditation retreat, usually you don't have to worry about time. It's weird why we have all these clocks and bells and stuff. In my retreats, we have no bells at all. I make that a distinguishing feature of Ajahn Brahm's retreat. I say on this retreat, we're practicing no bell silence. And if you practice it properly, you know what happens? Some of you actually win the No Bell Peace Prize. You get free of this idea of time. So I know it frustrates others, so I will try and behave. Even, I think Sri Lankans know that when I was over in Sri Lanka last time, I missed a flight. Not my fault. It was the people looking after me's fault. But I didn't mind. Just had an opportunity to spend a few extra hours in Sri Lankan airport. Nothing wrong with that. So in other words, I don't know why people are worried so much about time. It's like we're prisoners of time. In meditation, don't be a prisoner of time. Even in the monastery where I live over in Perth, that I've never ever seen any of the parrots, kookaburras, magpies with a watch. They all know when it's a time for lunch. It's true, they will just come there. They're not there the rest of the day. But once lunch comes, you can see them all hanging around, just waiting for anything which drops. Even before it drops, they're going to try. One of the funniest of the animals is the kookaburras, because they always get a high place and they look down. The monks know their tricks, so they'd never try and steal anything from a monk. But what they do to some of the lay people, they put their food on a plate and they take it outside into the patio in order to sit down and eat. And then we would always hear it from inside. Ah! We know that one of the kookaburras had stolen something from them. But that's the kookaburras, but they're also very stupid sometimes. If there was, say, a chicken leg, they steal that chicken leg, they can see it, they love chicken legs. But then, according to their tradition, everything they ate was usually a live animal or something. So they'd first of all have to kill it. So you see them with the chicken, it's already dead, but they don't realise that. They have the chicken leg in their beak, and they whack it against the tree, and whack it against the tree, and whack it to kill it. And all the meat falls off. The other birds, the parrots and the magpies, they just way down the bottom. They get a free food. Anyway, so where was I going with this? I don't know either. Insight, yes. So even though those birds, they live in the monastery, they don't get much insight. Insight usually gives you more peace and stillness in our life. And these are insights into so many amazing things in life. You know, like, for example, you always get people worried about when people get very sick and close to death. And because I'm a monk, I often have to deal with that. One of the experiences, I love talking about this, was there was a very wealthy Chinese man, like a patriarch of the family. And he was in Perth, and he was dying. He was in the ICU, in a coma. And the family had come from all these other countries in East Asia, you know, from Taiwan and from mainland China, Singapore, Korea, whatever, I'm not sure where, but from many countries. They were all big businessmen, and they all stopped everything to come and be with their father, uncle, or whatever it was, for his last hours. And they invited me to come up to do some chanting for their uncle, or their father, grandfather, whoever it was. So I rushed to Perth Hospital, to the ICU, went inside and started doing the chanting. And as I was doing the chanting, it was like sometimes you just really hit the spot, like a miracle. He came out of his coma. Even the doctors were surprised he was going to live. And then I felt so proud of myself. And I went into the waiting room to tell all the relations, you know, your patriarch is not going to die today. And they got so angry at me. They really did. They said, look, we've already arranged a funeral. They had. People to organise it all. They'd all come, left their businesses on hold while they flew to Perth, expensive flights, just for a day or two to be here for the funeral. And then they were going to go back to their home country and carry on again their business. And they said, now we've wasted 2 or 3 days. We're going to have to cancel the funeral and then do it another day in 6 months. And they said, we're really upset at you, Ajahn Brahm. I said, look, it's not my fault. You should have told me what chanting you wanted. In Buddhism, there's so many different types of chants. So please, you know, if it's myself or Ayachanda, if you want some chanting, please ask. Be quite clear what chanting you want. There's a die peaceful chanting, and there's a get better chant. If we do the wrong chant, don't blame me. So they're all really wealthy, those people. I didn't get any donation at all, not a penny, not a cent. They're just happy to get rid of me. But you know that sometimes also we do chanting on marriages, and that sometimes I get really tired. I do work hard. And sometimes I got so tired once, when I was doing this chanting for a couple of people getting married, I did the wrong chant. It wasn't the Die Peaceful chant, it wasn't that one. It was one of the other funeral chants. So these two people getting married, I started doing a funeral chant for them. Once you start, you can't stop, so they got the full funeral chant. Weird thing is, they're still together, happily married. I think more than actually what you were saying there is where it was coming from, wishing them a happy life together. You get so many insights when you're meditating, even in worldly things. And one of those insights is, I love doing this. I'm not sure if I said this. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have anyway. Here it comes again. That to look in the eyes of the bride, once the rings have been exchanged, they made their vows, then I look in her eyes and say, you are now a married woman. From this moment on, you must never think of yourself. She always smiles sweetly and says yes. And I look at the guy, especially if it's an Australian guy. I look at him and said, you are now a married man. You must not think of yourself from this moment on. He always pauses. But eventually he gives in and says, okay. I'm not making that up. I've done this many times. They're still looking at the guy. I say, and from this moment on, you must not think of her, your wife. And then look at the wife. Say, from this moment on, you're a married woman now, you must not think of him, your husband. And I love this moment. If you haven't heard this before, it's a beautiful moment where people they respect me. It's not a joke. There's something in this, and they haven't figured it out yet. And the answer is that when you are married, you must never think of yourself. You must never think of your partner. You must only think of us. The third option, which most people miss out on. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's always about us. I've been just waiting to tell that story in the Houses of Parliament to the Labour Party and the Liberal Party, and said, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's always about us. You have to work together. There's so much more we can do together than you can ever do by yourself. So if there's any problem, whose problem is it? Our problem, yeah. And I've found that there's never any problem you can't solve if you solve it together, with no blame. It's not your fault, it's not her fault, it's not his fault. It's always our fault. If it's the government, who elected the government? You did. Or you decided not to vote or whatever. This is a representative of the people.
Okay. Yeah. I think people here maybe didn't
Didn't
Some
vote?
maybe did people. No, for the present government.
Present
Maybe
government?
most people didn't.
It may be because
Anyway.
you come from Europe or somewhere. I didn't vote for the present government. I live in Australia. But whatever, this is, sometimes we can think of us rather than your own personal benefit. It's much more fun, much more beneficial, and we get a much better world. So anyway, insights like that, which you can find in these teachings when you start meditating. But one of the main insights is the insights into how to get deeper meditation. Why do people have blockages? Why can't you just sit down, be quiet and watch the breath? Why do we wander off? Why do we get tired? There's a very easy explanation to why we get tired in meditation. because you haven't had enough sleep. In the residential retreats, again, over in the retreat centre which I built over in Perth, it's a very beautiful one, isn't it? Yeah, you'd love to be able to, if I could just send one of those to you the next time I come here, a retreat centre.
Send me there, that's easier.
Sorry?
It's easier to send me there.
And everyone else as well. But in that retreat centre, I make it very clear, any time you feel tired, go to your room and take a rest. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do, to be allowed any time of the day or night to sleep. Because sometimes your body doesn't follow schedules. Sometimes the body is tired at all sorts of weird times of the day. I have the opportunity to practice that a lot over in Perth because I'm a boss. And as a boss I can lock the door and say, well, I'm disappearing. And I don't know if I'm meditating or sleeping. Sometimes it is sleeping. Because I ask my body, what do you want? What do you need? Mind, what do you need? Honestly, sometimes it really shocks me. I've just woken up, I've had some breakfast, talked with the monks, organised a few things, and I go back to my room and I ask my body and it says, I want to sleep. You just had a sleep. And the body says, I want to sleep. And I lay down, and I know it was the right decision because you go to sleep almost immediately as soon as your head hits the pillow. And you wake up half an hour later, and you feel just so strong, so energized. All the time during COVID, I never had COVID. I think that's one of the reasons why. Probably the infection was starting in my body, but then my body told me to take a rest. And I had the nerve to do that, to take a rest. And the COVID never came. The body fixed it up before it became evident to me. I think that's the only way these things work. You understand your body, not just be understanding of it, but be kind enough to it. If the body says take a rest, take the rest. Am I over time already? Oh yeah. No, Venerable Chandra's really, it's not trying to control me, it's just reminding me that I've got my duties and obligations as well.
It's just the schedule, that's all.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So
like
thank you.
Jhana Grove, you have a schedule.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Yeah, and you always stick to that without anyone needing to tell you.
Not always.
Yeah, you do.
So anyhow, we've gone over the time for the schedule about the insight, but I think you got some of the messages there on how to do that insight. That insight are these understandings on how to become more peaceful, understanding how to be more kind, understanding how to be a better human being, so when you get home, you won't have any trouble coming to the next retreat. Your husband, your wife, your partner, your friends will send you here. Or your boss at work will say, when are you going on retreat again? I will pay everything for you. Why not? It does actually improve you. Anyway, so that's a little bit about insight. So now we will have stretching, and after stretching, some meditation. Correct? Let's have a look at it.
You don't have to keep asking me, actually.
Sorry.
It's embarrassing.
No, you don't need to be embarrassed. I praise you. Dhamma talk guided meditation. That's it. We'll do the Buddha reflection, a guided meditation. It's one of my favourite ones. where you can imagine you're a newly enlightened Buddha. Really cool. Aircraft explosion or whatever. This is so big you can actually hold each corner and it doubles as a parachute. It would, it's very big. I've never tried it yet though. Okay. Okay. I think other people will be coming in a bit later, but sometimes when you go to the toilets, I don't call them toilets over in Perth, I call them letting go rooms. Where you can abandon your burdens, let go, release the impediments. They're very, very Buddhist. But I must admit, I prefer the American term for them. They're called rest rooms. So if ever, you're in an office and you need to meditate, it's the obvious place to go. Go in one of the cubicles in the rest room and sit there for half an hour until you're really cooled and chilled out. And if your boss complains afterwards, you have to be honest, just say you were constipated. Just don't tell them it was mentally constipated. Anyhow. So this is a meditation. So we start just by sitting comfortably. Meditation is going to... one of the reasons, Chandra, is when I put my clock down here, you can't see it, it's dark. Can't see the time. Is yours much lighter?
But Ajahn, I'm not... You just do what you want.
Yeah, I know. But I just want to... I do really have good intentions.
You have time, it's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. So first of all, just check your posture. Make sure your body feels relaxed in a type of position which you can maintain for 40 minutes. Those of you who had your eyes open notice that I sort of sit with my back straight. It's much more comfortable at first when I sort of lean my back against the chair, but I do find that for sitting long periods it's much more comfortable straightening my back at the beginning, loosening my shoulders, making sure my feet are well placed. If you have long legs, you can always put a cushion underneath your bottom. It kind of makes the chair higher for you. If you've got short legs, you can put the cushion underneath your feet. Finding a position which is the most comfortable. And you can ask your body, are you comfortable? Is there anything I can do for you, body, to make you more comfortable? And you show your care for your own body to that extent. You're really looking after it. And it is some part of your body which is aching or irritating or itching. And if you can't scratch it, then just give it kindness. It's like you look at that part of your body and say, body, for me it's my thigh at the moment. It's kind of itchy. So I say to my thigh, itchy thigh, door of my heart's open to you. I give you kindness. When you focus on parts of your body with kindness, it's amazing just how they tend to expand, releasing any blockages, allowing energy to pass through your body. It's like the insight into how to relax. And after a while, you get so skilled at bodily relaxation, not the whole body relaxing, but just parts of it. How you can relax your knees, how you can relax your shoulders. It's one of those insights which gives you the ability to relax almost anything. And once your body is relaxed, then you can start this little mental exercise, imagining you're sitting in a quiet forest, close to a very beautiful river, the Nibbana river. It's wide, deep, cool, just flowing gently. It's where you bathe in the morning, where you can get water to drink and wash. And you're sitting under the shade of a very beautiful tree. The shade protects you from the heat of the sun. And maybe you can hear some of the leaves rustling in the light morning breeze. A few birds, but not that many. And you're sitting down on this grass which you collected, which is underneath your bottom. Really comfortable. You've had a beautiful meal, the milk rice from Sujata. Your tummy is satisfied. Your body has rested. And now it's sitting there effortlessly under the cool shade of a beautiful tree. There's hardly any other human being around. You're sitting in what is like a park, a lovely garden full of a few trees, grass. It's so peaceful. Hardly any sound at all. And inside of you, you are totally relaxed. No ache or pain anywhere to be seen in your body. It's like your body has had a full massage, been to a spa, well fed, cool. Everything is just so comfortable. And also, you recall, you've just experienced some of the most amazing insights. You're now a Buddha. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what race, what age. The experience of being a Buddha is that all you're wanting is not needed anymore. You have everything you could ever want. Safety, security, peace, health. Your mind is so strong. If there is anything which is troubling your body, sometimes just even looking at it or imagining it, it gives such powerful calmness and bliss to that part of your body. All the aches and pains vanish. Not because you're negative to them, because your kindness, compassion is so incredibly strong. Nothing can resist it. And you know this is not just something which is only going to last for a moment. You know that this peace, health, is going to be there until the moment that your 5 khandhas stop once and for all. You're at peace. More importantly, all that striving which drives us to hurt our body, to harm others, all that striving, that wanting, that sense of you need something more, has totally disappeared, vanished. You're just sitting there, enjoying the shade, the cool breeze, with nothing which is missing in your whole life. Nothing needed. No one to call on your mobile phone. Nothing to check on your tablet. Nowhere to go. Nothing stopping you going. Perfect, ultimate freedom. More importantly, nothing more to do in this world. Not needing to go to work. Not needing to volunteer even. Just being who you are is more than a gift to all beings in this world. You're never going to be harming anybody or anything. And you know that when you are harmless, other beings in this world protect you. They care for you. It's like you're part of every ant mound, every family of elephants, every flock of birds. You are part of all of them. They will never harm or hurt you, because you belong. There's nothing more needed of you in this world. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to go to school and get tested and get pieces of paper which show that somehow that you've done this or done that. All of that is not needed anymore. You are free. You don't have to worry about how you're going to get fed or where you're going to live or how you're going to stay. All this is just provided. Provided because you've got such a peaceful, beautiful body and mind. The world looks after you. If it doesn't matter. There's no want, no aversion left in the world. All those people who may say rotten things to you, bad things to you, you always knew underneath that they don't usually mean that. Sometimes the more we speak, the more chance there is we'll say something which is offensive. But they're not offensive people. Just the words can be misunderstood. And you know, no matter what you say, as a Buddha, some people will understand. They will grow so much. Some people won't. But you're at peace with no matter what happens. You have nothing to worry about in the whole world. And you can feel your body. You're a Buddha. The legs are at ease. The back is at ease. The arms and the head, they don't need anything anymore. All that struggle and striving, all that hard journey to reach the summit is over now. You're at the summit. There's no more struggle, striving, carrying of burdens needed anymore. You are light. I used to like watching the birds in the sky. You never see a bird with a backpack on. They fly international with no baggage. Just like you, a Buddha. You have no baggage at all. Everyone trusts you. You don't have to prove anything anymore. No proof necessary. Just being peaceful. Other animals might make noises. It doesn't disturb you. You've got no resistance to the world or to life. Whatever comes, like the wind. You don't know where the wind comes from. You don't know where the wind goes to. All you know is the wind as it passes you. And it passes by quite quickly. And you keep nothing. You're a person without any electronic equipment needed. You don't need things to remind you or wake you up. You don't need any more information. When you've gone to enlightenment, no more information is needed. You're at peace, free, totally at ease. In that peace, in that ease, maybe you can experience a nimitta right now, beautiful light in the mind, reminding you of the purity and the strength, the illumination of a Buddha. You don't need happiness and joy. It's just there. Because all that tiredness of struggling, all that energy expended trying to be something has all disappeared. You just are in this moment, part of a natural process, not resisting anything, at ease, because you're not tightening up to resist something, you're not stretching to reach anything, you're just right here, happy as can be with where you are. No plans to go anywhere. No disappointments possible. Need a plan to be disappointed. You're just happy being here. And again, don't have to prove anything or live up to anybody's expectations. Don't even live up to your own expectations. You have no expectations. You're a Buddha. Just calmly just being here. As welcome as the tree itself under which you sit. The tree gives shade to everybody. It doesn't distinguish. The tree has got such compassion. It even gives shade to the person chopping it down. Just like a Buddha. Kind, expecting nothing, wanting nothing, impossible to upset. Anger and the tightness of anger has disappeared from you. It's not part of your experience anymore. You're not angry at the world. Compassionate, kind to it, yes. As you sit under this Bodhi tree, enlightenment tree, imagining that you are a Buddha, what it must feel like. All those things which cause tightness and tension in your mind, which stop you sleeping, which worry you, and sometimes which make you sick, they're all gone. You don't have to try to live up to other people's expectations anymore. You can never achieve that. People's expectations are just always far too much. You just are. Peaceful, and you're kind by example. Sitting, doing nothing, harming nobody, just being this kind, soft, beautiful being. Don't need to teach or to talk or inspire. Just a smile is enough. You're a Buddha. Nothing to do. No aspirations. Just inspirations. Not doing anything. Just being passive to what's happening right now. Knowing it, being kind to it, and being gentle. This peaceful being who can soak up everybody else's suffering. And once it's soaked up, it just disappears, vanishes, nothing left. You're a Buddha who lives in emptiness, so empty. You can fill it with all sorts of problems from others, and nothing remains. Empty before, empty after. Imagine that emptiness, that nothingness, that space going right inside of you. The emptiness going right down to your toes. That emptiness going right through your tummy. And just all the bugs and stuff inside of you gets very calm and disappears. That calmness going right up through your body. You may have all sorts of health problems according to doctors, but the emptiness heals everything. And the emptiness going right into your head. All the thoughts and the worries get dissolved. They vanish. So you're a Buddha, totally at peace. Your insight and understanding is not ideas. It's the stillness, the peace, the real peace. Nothing can disturb it. Nothing can get rid of nothing. Totally at ease. Know where you need to go. No more things you need to do. Done is what needed to be done. You don't feel like jumping up and down, celebrating. There's nothing to do anymore. Peace at last. Like the burden of solving suffering has been completed. Now you understand what suffering is. No longer will you fight, struggle, and create more suffering. Now you totally let go. Be kind. Kind to all of life. There's nothing more to be done. Your life has fulfilled its purpose. The most profound fulfillment when nothing is left to be done. You know that anyone who comes in the range of your kindness and peace and insight, whether you explain the Dhamma or you just smile, you just are. That affects all beings so much. The sense of being who is totally, really, totally harmless and at peace and kind. How do you feel? As if you are a Buddha. Sometimes I call this a taste of freedom. Freedom from wanting. Freedom from compulsion. Having to do things. Freedom from having to please others. Freedom from having to please yourself. There is no one in there to be pleased. You're empty and free. I don't know what you'll be watching, what your meditation object is right now. But sometimes it's an object called the peace of enlightenment. You can kind of feel that peace, you can taste it. And it's so pleasant, it's easy to keep in mind. Anything which is pleasant is easy for the mind to stay with. And don't think this is going to get you anywhere. We're not doing this for results. We're doing this just because it's peaceful to do. Just here, still, at ease. I will be quiet now because I want to enjoy this too. Getting close to the end of this meditation period, almost 11 o'clock. How do you feel? What was that like? Did that work for you? Just imagine what it's like, what it would be like if abandoned all wanting, have total contentment, safety, freedom of fear, not controlling, being at peace. For those of you who wish to continue meditating, please do so. Those of you who want to do some walking, please get up so silently that no one knows you got up, no one knows you walked out. Those who want to continue, please feel free to. In 1/2 we'll have the lunch meditation. Thank you.